as you said, in the blue zones, they don't have a lot of money, but they're living longer, and they're happy as well. In in where we live, money does give us choices, and it helps us live to a certain extent. Like if you're an adventure kind of person like you are, you need some cash behind you to go and do the things that you want to do. And in the end, we can't take it with us. So, what's your philosophy on the financial aspects of longevity? Because I know that we don't just want the money just to last. We want it to help us live. So, yeah, what's your philosophy on the financial aspects of longevity?
Yeah, well, I mean, a couple things. One is, at least here in America, there was some research done, about a decade ago by the Brookings Institute that was just jaw-dropping at the time. The New York Times just called this jaw-dropping, where the top 5% earners were outliving the lowest 5% earners by a decade or more. So just by having money, you were getting over a decade more of life, not even to speak to the kind of the qualitative nature of your life, but
Mm.
that's a lot. I mean, considering what it's like to be alive versus not. Okay, it's pretty dramatic.
Yeah, that's
so,
right.
so certainly money has a lot to do with our own health and wellness. And certainly everyone has their own journey on what's enough, but we need to capture our basic needs. And then the rest of this is sort of this mental journey on, what's the theme, comparison is the thief of all joy. So how much is enough? And, how do you get not getting caught up in the rat race? And how do you maintain control of your mind? And I mean, that's a real, so the good news is most of the money journey is a mental one, because if you're listening to this podcast, here's the good news. You have enough. You really do. You just might not understand it. You might not realize it, but the blue zones proves it to us. Here are populations that live healthier, longer, without disease, are measurably happier by every person, every researcher who studied these folks, and yet no money. So that's the great news. It's not about the money. So it is and it isn't, so
Yeah.
you can look at that and be relieved, because I'll guarantee you, if you're listening to this podcast, you have enough, and you just got to kind of recalibrate your mind and get settled, and then move forward with. If you want more, then take the practical steps to get more. And I go through that. What are those practical steps? Be financially literate. For you, how do you choose the right job? And by choosing the right job, it's probably the one you have. And if you have a job, how then to approach that job? I've seen so many people. I've had the good fortune to create companies and have lots of people who work for me, and even my own as an entrepreneur. Everyone thinks, oh, you're the CEO, you're the entrepreneur, it must be so easy, everything. I don't wake up every day and turn the page and go, all right, step 4, do this. It's like I don't have that manual. And so as an entrepreneur, as a leader, you're pushing into the unknown. We're all pushing into this unknown journey. And what I would suggest to folks, and what I write about, is look inward. Look at the details. Look at the small bits. Think small about your job, and you will find purpose. You will find creativity. You will find innovation. I'll guarantee it. I don't care if you're the janitor of the school or the CEO of a Fortune. I mean, it exists. You just need to train your mind and get your mind right and focus on it. And if you can't find it there, trust me, if you're working in that way, it will lead to something else that does. I'll guarantee it.
Yeah. There's so much gold in what you were saying there, John. I'll go back over a couple of those things, that when you said if you're listening to this podcast, you have enough, because I have heard that if you have a bed to sleep in, a fridge, dwelling to live in, and somewhere to keep your clothes in that dwelling, you're living in, I think it's like the top 5% of the world in terms of wealth.
Yeah, I mean, according to Warren Buffett, we've all won the ovarian lottery. I mean, to be alive at this time in this place, you've already won. Straight up, you're winning. And to your point, exactly right. You're probably, if you have those things, those if you have your basic needs covered, you're living at some of the highest levels of all of humanity. There's a lot of humanity out there that just doesn't even have those basic needs covered. So exactly right. Get those needs, get your mind right around your needs and then your wants,
Mm,
right?
mm,
And then
mm.
I write about, like, I don't like to kind of sort my needs from my wants. So I like just to work like hell, and create more prosperity so I don't have to force myself to do that tedious task. Some people like to do that and it works for them. For me, that's hard, difficult.
Mm.
And so I even go through this thing. For me, it feels like life is almost binary choice. I'm either working and earning or I'm spending. Like, I can't, the only time maybe walking my dogs is in the middle. You know what I mean? It's like, that's the only moment where I'm in the middle. I'm not spending and I'm not earning. I'm just walking my dogs, which is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But the other thing you said, which really hits home for me, and especially if I fall foul of it, and sometimes I do, especially with what I'm about, with growing the show, having a speaking career, in the process of writing a book, and if you compare yourself with others, if I compare myself with others, I go, oh shit, I'm never going to be that good.
Yeah.
But I'm on this part. This my journey's here, and that person's probably over there and has many more years of experience or whatever doing this. And I'm not comparing apples with apples. And does it really matter? I'm on my own journey and loving it as I'm doing it. It's only when I compare that I find myself not loving it.
You're dead on, and that's just such great advice. It's your journey, so focus on you. I'm listening to your podcast. I'm hearing all the other guests. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say that's unique? What am I going to say that's interesting? What do I have to offer these listeners? So that's what's going on. That's that play that I have. But the reality is, we're having an incredible conversation. I think we're talking about really cool stuff. It's our journey, and we're hoping that this journey is adding value to others. And I'll guarantee you, someone's out there listening, going, "Bam, thanks, man. Appreciated that."
Yeah. Thanks for saying all of that. And we want to make a difference to others.
Yeah.
That's why you're putting your stuff out there. And we want many people doing it, which is great. And I feel that the world needs this more than ever. As many people as possible, helping people rise up, because there's plenty of things that can bring you down. But the main thing that I've found that does can hold you back, it's yourself. And so when you said about self mastery, I really think that's the key to having whatever you want. Not that I'm Buddha or anything like that, but you've spent a lot of time in the self mastery area, and like you say, that takes work. That takes a dedication. We got people listening, going, "Yeah, this all sounds great, John and John." Yeah, I want to master myself, whatever. So, and I'm going to ask you this question, and I'll answer the first part for you. But the question is going to be, what can someone do listening now that feels a bit stuck in that area? Because the answer I want to say is, well, buy the book, Healthy, Wealthy, Longevity, the Good Things in Life, for as long as possible, and also grab the prompt journal. So there's a couple of things you can do right now, a couple of actions you can take right now to improve where you currently are, if that's what you want. There's always another level to go to. What else, John, can we do?
What I would say is, begin by setting up your environment. Set up your environment to help you in your own success. And by that, I mean, when I say success, I'm talking about your health and your finances, okay, and getting your mind right. So the three things: getting your mind right. But I would suggest to you, if you get your health in a better position and you get your prosperity in a better situation, your mind's going to be in a better place, okay?
Definitely.
So I would suggest is, start by setting your environment that make the better choice the easier choice. And that's some of the Blue Zone's wisdom that Dan Buettner has brought to the world. And
Mm.
and so, okay, if your pantry is full of salty, sugary, yummy foods, go in there and empty it. Okay, throw it in the trash and don't go back there and dig it out. And when you go to the store next time, buy some whole grain bread, some almond butter, some honey, and use that, and some popcorn. So my point is, there's one step right there. If you've got a
Yeah.
drawer full of receipts or unpaid bills, and you know it's there, and you have bills, go get that drawer, organize the papers, balance your checkbook, get a handle on where your current finances are. If you haven't done a personal net worth statement, do a personal net worth statement
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Right.
Understand where you are today,
Yep.
okay?
Yep.
And then set yourself up again to make the better choice, the easier choice, the default choice, you know. And that takes work, but it's as simple as put your running shoes or your walking shoes next to the door. I mean, so there's all sorts of little life. Those are just little life
Mm.
hacks that we can
Yep.
all start doing
Yep.
that will encourage us. I mean, we're all, I'm like no different than anyone else, but it will facilitate, encourage us to get into that positive feedback loop. Oh, I did this positive. I'm going to do a little bit more. And that's where we really want to get in that positive feedback loop. And now you're cooking. That's where I like to say you should be compounding in every aspect of your life. This financial concept of compounding should be working in your health and in your money. Okay. It should be
Mm.
working in your relationships. It should be working in all aspects. And so you're expanding in these multi dimensions.
You've given us some great tips there, John. This personal net worth. So I know a lot of people, they're too scared to look at their bank account because they just don't want to know if there's money in there. That's good, and they'll what, but they won't actually know the what so about their finances. So I love your first financial tip that you're saying. If you're feeling stuck in that financial area, want to do a personal net worth statement to see exactly where you're at, because it's like any journey. You can't use the map unless you know where to start.
That's right. That's right. Here's another one. Go weed your garden, clean up your yard. Okay.
Yep.
Go to a park and pick up trash. Just do it. Just do it. Just go pick up the trash in the park. I will guarantee you, you will feel better about everything around you and your life. And you know what? You just made the world a more beautiful place. And if
Mm,
we all
mm.
did that, boy, it'd be a really great place to live. It already is, but I'm just saying, we can take those micro actions.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I'm getting that feeling from you that it's doing those little things all the time that really make the difference. I could totally relate with the workout, getting prepared to do the exercise, like you said, put your shoes, whatnot, next to your bed. Because if I've always been interested and have been exercising all my life, not as much as I should in some areas, but especially this year, I've said I'm just working out 3 times a week, no matter what, made it a priority. And I don't have to tell you, but it's certainly impacted my mind so dramatically. I feel better. I'm taking more action. I'm loving my life even more than I was before. And I found that when I go to bed, because a couple of times a week I have to get up early to go, which is fine. I love that. We always say if you win the morning, you win the day. And I'm a morning person, so if the alarm goes off and it's dark and my clothes are laid out and I can just simply get dressed and walk out the door, it's not a big drama. But if I've been lazy and the alarm goes off, I'm going to go because I said I would and I'm committed to doing it. But I'm fumbling around in the dark, trying not to wake up the wife and then banging here and getting, oh God, I should have done this last night. I know that for sure because I've experienced both ways. So I love that tip for our listeners. Get yourself ready for the next day's movement, exercise, walk, whatever it is, and try and do it at the same time every day. I've found as well works for me. I hope that works for others, because if you think, oh, I'll get to it, or you don't have it in your diary, you won't. Other things will come in, and you won't get to it. Other thing I wanted to touch on with what you said was going to your pantry, or we call it a pantry. Do you call it a pantry over there?
Yeah, pantries. Yeah,
Yeah, good.
pantry. Yeah.
So go into your pantry and sort it out and get rid of the crap. And we all like to treat ourselves every now and then. But when I heard that healthy eating begins at the supermarket,
Hmm.
that just changed my life.
Yeah. Right.
It's so simple,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
What I actually purchase
Yeah.
there is going to either it's going to help my body or not. So it all starts there. So it's not going to get into your pantry until you've bought it.
If you throw out everything in your pantry, you're gonna have to go back to the store. And so there you go. You're gonna trigger it, right? You're like, okay, I got to get something. I'm hungry.
Mm,
Yeah, I remember one funny story with my wife. You know, she at one point was buying Oreos for the kids, and I don't know about you, but I mean, I'm just a sucker for an Oreo, and I'd eat a quarter of the pack, and well, the quarter of it's gone. I might as well just kind of keep going. Well, 2/3 of the whole thing are gone. Well, I don't want to just put back a little stack, so I'll just finish it off, right? And I mean, it was so bad that I said, you can never buy these again. This is over. You know, this is so bad. So, I mean, it really is. It's kind of like that. You know, you just can't have, it's good to get a treat. It's all good. Reward yourself. Well, I like to say, I like to go to the Pinkberry yogurt store and because that makes me have to leave the house. Maybe if I can walk there or bike there, I actually leave. And then I talk to the gal or the guy at the counter and I crack a joke and I have a little socialization and I bring a smile to someone's face and that's good too. As anyway, so there's you can still have your treats. I'm not saying you can't have it, just don't make them so easily accessible.
mm,
That's a
mm.
really that's that man who can resist it.
Yes, I've got a couple of kids, 15 and 11, and they love the Oreo ice cream thing where the ice cream is in between the things.
Yeah.
I don't eat them. Luckily, I don't have a sweet tooth, but my wife and the kids certainly do. So I've got a lot of willpower in that area. But yeah, the kids love that. And that's the balance, isn't it, between trying to, because the kids love all that stuff, but they don't realize you don't want to be the bad guy. But at the same time, it's like, can't have it every day and eat your fruits and vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah. Eating wisely is, I mean, movement and diet are the two best longevity drugs on the market today, hands down.
Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not a biohacker. I'm not I am a longevity enthusiast, but I do not subscribe to any nutraceutical. I mean, I do a little bit of protein powder in my smoothie, but I'm not a big, supplement person. I like to say get the basics right, and
Yeah.
and you're going to get 80% of the gain to be had by if you can
Mm.
get those basics down well.
And you've done an Ironman, is that right?
Yeah, 5 Ironmans. Yep, I was big into ultra for a while. Did 5 Ironmans. I did a bunch of
Yeah.
ultra outdoor runs, 50 miles. 50 miles was the furthest. I never got further than that. But yeah,
That's enough.
yeah, no, that's enough. I mean, yeah,
I
yes.
think that's a good distance. Yeah.
You touched on it, which was how your own when first of all setting yourself up to get to the gym easier or exercise or get outside. It's just however you can do that. Just get your mind right. And again, that's what I'm writing about. If you focus on your health,
Mm.
I will almost guarantee the almost every aspect of the rest of your life will get better. Even your money, even your job, like everything. In fact, when I started focusing on the science of health and wellness, my job
Mm.
and my career just went boom to the
Yeah.
moon. I was like, wow, I became the most interesting guy in the room. I was talking about DNA, gene expression, biological aging. It was very, and so working on your health is just so foundational and important. What I'd like to say about doing ultra sports or try anything for that matter, and I don't care if it's a 5K or a 10K. I mean, I ultimately worked into triathlon and ultra stuff, but what those environments provide, not only do they provide a context for getting an environment for getting better health, but they also are a controlled environment to practice the resiliency muscle that we need. And so that's why I mean, people would, first of all, they would say, well, what are you training for next, John? And I just say, I'm training for life. I mean, I don't have a Strava, I don't have a Garmin. I wanted, look, being an entrepreneur is really hard. And so if I could create the physical endurance, if you will, that really aided me in my own career. But also, what I also learned was when the going got hard, when I thought I couldn't go any further, when the world seemed dark and bleak, if I just took one more step and one more step and one more step, I started feeling better. And then I kept moving. So I learned to keep moving forward. It's a controlled
Mm,
environment to build a resiliency muscle so that you keep moving forward. You have no ability to change the past, but you have so much control and agency about controlling the future.
yep.
But you have to be moving forward in that journey. And so that's a great environment to learn that the road always continues. You have resiliency that you don't even understand that you have, and you can begin to find it and build that muscle.
Yeah, nice, nice. I love what you're saying there, John. And especially if you pounding the pavement and you, like you say, you might feel like giving up or that it's starting to hurt, and you go, "Well, I'm going to take one more step, and I'm going to take one more step, and one more step." And then next thing you know, you've reached your goal, or you're closer to your goal. I always say time is your friend because no matter how you're feeling, especially if you're not feeling great, it won't last. It
That's
won't
right.
last. I saw a something the other day. Someone was saying, "Oh, I'm not feeling that good," and then someone said to them, "Well, have you drunk enough water? What did you eat today? Did you go outside? Did you get some fresh air? Did you speak to a friend?" And the answer was all no, 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 no. And they're like, "Yeah, that's why you're not feeling great today."
Incredible, like just how simple that those actions are, really. And if you would have done those five things, go outside, drink your glass of water, talk to a friend, pet your dog, yeah, it would be better.
It would change. And a lot of those things don't cost a lot of money. I always feel really grateful because I can be feel satisfied and grateful looking at a sunset or a sunrise or something like that. So those things that, of course, I love to have those things as well that cost money, and sometimes you delve into that world, and that's awesome. But I've found the things that I like the most don't cost a lot of money. So I feel really grateful in that area that conversation like today, like this is making me so happy to do this, right? And yeah, it might have cost money to set this up or whatever, but right now it's not costing me a cent. And I am so happy doing this and the conversation that we're having. I hope, listeners, you're loving it as much as we are because it's certainly a conversation for greatness. I've got to mention the book again, Healthy, Wealthy, Longevity. Not all, I've got to better read it right. Okay, here we go. I'll start that again. Healthy, wealthy, longevity. The good things in life for as long as possible. I'm going to have all the links there. You can buy it on Amazon. You can have a look at all the chapters there. And I think you can read one or two of the first pages as well. So it's all there to have a look at. The Pursuit of Happiness Prompt Journal. I'll have the link where you can get that. I think it's $18.95 US, and you get 3 of them. So you've got 90 days worth if you want. John, this podcast is called Rise and Thrive Conversations for Greatness, and I ask all my guests, what does greatness mean to you?
Greatness means having the presence of mind to control your mind and direct it towards that which you want in your life so you can control your journey. That is, in my mind, what greatness is all about.
I hear you loud and clear, brother. And I also ask all my guests, we've got a Spotify playlist called Merco Motivation, and every guest has a song on that playlist. I love it because when I listen to it, I remember all the guests that I've had. But it's also there for the listeners if they would like to get a bit more motivated and pumped up. So I ask all my guests, when you need a pump up or a boost, what's that song that you'll put on to help you with that?
Let's go to Aerosmith. Aerosmith, Dream On.
Yep, yep.
Why not?
I love that song. It's used in a fair few reels these days as well. So sometimes if you're on Instagram or whatnot and you're seeing some reels, that song comes on. It just sticks in my head. I love that song. You're helping people realize their dreams by putting out your book, by the words, by your actions. What are some of the dreams left for you, Jon?
Oh, I'm really excited about some of the things that I'm working on in the new company, Longevity Financial Partners, and really my dream is to build some financial products and bring those products to market that really help people deal with the challenges of money and old age. That is a very, very big problem that we have, at least in the United States. We don't have our pension system went away. Our social security system is basically bankrupt. And people are really being forced to kind of self-fund their own retirement. And yet we are living decades longer. And so how do we pay for that? And how do we create an environment where old age is not fraught with financial insecurity? So my dream is to bring some really exciting, innovative products through Longevity Financial Partners to market that make a big difference for folks.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's a great dream. You'll have to come back on the show and tell us what those other ones are. You've got us all curious now, but we've got time. Hey, mate, you're always welcome on the show. I love what you're doing. I'm going to be ordering the prompt journal because was something I've always wanted to do. As in, I know it's good to do, but I haven't been doing it, and I love yours because it's pocket size. It can be done pretty quickly, and that's what I'm noticing as well. I'm the same, but a lot of people are time poor. They want something quick that they can do. They don't want to spend half an hour or an hour during the day doing this kind of thing. But you can do it quickly. You can get the benefits. I'll be talking to our Rise and Thrivers after a month of doing it and let them know my experiences of doing it. So that's going to be my little side project after this. Is there anything you'd like to say to the listeners before we sign off today?
No, I mean, first of all, thank you, John. I appreciate that. I'm thrilled. And I think you asked me the question earlier, which is, have you had any experience with people who have used the prompt journal and experience with it? And I have had some really great feedback, but what I would want to do with you I'll come back in 30, 60, 90 days and we'll see how it works with you, and we'll live it right here live. And, we'll all have to, hopefully it's good. I'm sure it will be. So yeah, let's do that. Let's plan on that. That'd be an
Let's do
exciting
that.
place to come back. Okay.
I love that. I love that idea, Jon. Definitely. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's certainly a conversation for greatness. You're welcome back anytime. And now it's going to happen. We've set that. Keep rising, keep thriving. Thanks for being on the show, mate.
Thanks. Keep doing what you're doing. Your cast is great. Really appreciate your work, John. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on Rise and Thrive Conversations for Greatness with Jon Merkus. Remember, you are loved, you are worthy, and you do matter. Embrace the journey of personal growth and motivation. Let's go out there and do something great. Follow or subscribe for more insights and inspiration every Tuesday. Until next time, stay awesome.